Hello, welcome to Go Beyond Betty. Today we are going to make our favorite curry, which is Thai Panang Curry. Curry is just a mixture of typically meat, different vegetables, coconut milk, and then some type of paste. And the paste is made from things like garlic, lemongrass, kaffir lime leaf, galangal. I'll talk about those things in just a minute, but we are going to use pork today. So for me, I start with the pork, garlic, onions, and then go through my vegetables based on their density, and then finally add in all the liquid ingredients. But if you're doing something like shrimp, you would skip this whole first step and then go right to the vegetables. Let's get our pork going. Just a neutral oil in a larger pan on probably a medium heat so that this starts to cook through. So this is galangal, this is ginger. They're both in that rhizome family, but a little bit different flavors. Ginger can be used maybe more in Indian cuisines, other cuisines. Galangal they typically always use for Thai cuisine. Look at the skin, just a little bit different and different flavors. So we are going to use the traditional galangal today. Lemongrass. So lemongrass looks like this. I could actually put this in water and get it to root and you could grow it. But the only parts that you can use, you would start by peeling a little bit. I'm going to whittle this down to about this size. You can only use the white part, and that white part is pretty much from here till about here. And we're going to cut these in like 2-inch chunks. You don't eat this, it just flavors things. Your lime leaf. My neighbor has a tree, but I also just bought this at the Asian market. You can keep these in the freezer because you really only need like 4 leaves sometimes. Just keep them in the freezer. Little Thai chilies. So I keep these frozen as well, and then they're ready anytime you want to use them. So all of these are going to go into our curry today. They're all in the paste already, but this is what takes like regular curry, just paste and coconut milk, into something more amazing and more restaurant style because we're adding all these extra little touches of flavor. The pork is cooking. It's kind of halfway done. I'm going to start adding our slivered onions, and then I'll give the pork a couple turns around. We need to get it cooked about 70 to 80% before we start adding the rest of the veg. We have everything cut and ready. I did want to talk to you about, this is palm sugar. It is hard as a bloody rock. So there's really not a good way to break it up. I tend to just throw it in early and just keep moving it around so that it just dissolves throughout the whole process of making the curry. So I'm throwing that in now. The pork is about 70% done. So now I'm going to add the next most dense vegetable. So I'm going to do the green beans and then throw in the mushrooms. I'll stir it around, give it maybe 2 minutes, and then I'm going to add in the curry paste, which this comes in these little cans, and 1 can of coconut milk along with some fresh stock that we need. So we just have the mushrooms and the green beans added to our pork. I'm going to now add our aromatics, all that galangal, the lemongrass, the kaffir lime leaves, and the Thai chilies. Everything else will wait. Give it a few minutes. All right, it's time for our curry paste. I'm gonna add a whole can. I forgot to shake my coconut milk, and that's what it looks like when you forget. So be careful when you break the seal, it starts oozing out. And then make sure you're getting all that delicious fat inside. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of chicken stock. Ours looks super dark and weird because we smoked chickens yesterday, and it's just a little darker than what you'd buy in the store, but it's also a lot better. I give this a good stir, mix in that curry paste, melt that coconut milk fat. Hopefully our giant ball of sugar in there will start melting. Now I do have a lot of vegetables, and we can already tell that this isn't enough broth, even though everything will continue to cook down. If you like a lot of broth, which I know Tom does, I'm probably gonna add more stock and either more coconut milk or add some coconut cream and broth. Sometimes you want it thinner, sometimes you want it really thick and heavy. It's time to add our last veg. I did end up adding another cup of broth and another can of coconut milk just because Tommy likes it brothy. We give our cameramen what they want. Right, babe?
That's right. That's how you get paid.
All right, so just keep an eye on this. As soon as the snow peas are starting to get like that bright green, we know they're about done. Then we're gonna turn it off, and then it's time to taste because we need to probably be adding fish sauce. We need to just check our spices and seasoning. If we want it more spicy, we'll test it in a minute. Now it's time to test it. I've turned the heat off. All the vegetables are done. but it takes a while to get it to the right flavor. So so many people think like, oh, it should just be automatically great. No, it's not. It's always missing salt, brightness, all sorts of things. It's sweet, which Penang does tend to be a little bit sweeter, but it needs salt for sure. So I'm gonna start with maybe a tablespoon of fish sauce. Sorry, that's it. Start with, and that's the Thai salt, right? So we're kind of used to sprinkling kosher salt or any kind of salt, flaky salt. But Thai culture, you use fish sauce. So give that a second. We are gonna add lime juice, but I do wanna add a little bit now, even though we can kind of doctor our own, but I do love that brightness that it gives. So I'm gonna use maybe half a lime, and then I'm also gonna throw in about half of our Thai basil. I think that also adds just another level of flavor. Again, I like it fresh on there, and I like it kind of cooked in there. What about you, Tommy?
Both.
Exactly. I normally have Tom do most of the tasting. Better, more salt. So this takes a little while. I'm gonna go with another tablespoon now. Keep in mind that was a good amount of pork, and with pork I use about 1 teaspoon of salt, so we probably do need more fish sauce than you think. All right, I'm gonna keep doing this until we find it to be perfect. All right, we're all done. So it took us about 10 different tastings to get it right. So focus on what you like. Do you like the sour? It already had enough sweet in it. We end up adding a little bit more heat, but a lot of fish sauce and a lime juice for the most part, but a little bit more of the chilies. So it is finally ready. And I like to decorate mine with some of the little tops of the basil plant. You can't eat the Italian ones, but you can totally eat the Thai basil ones. I paid $15 for that. It's delicious. Perfect balance of flavors, but again, it takes time. That's why we take whisks in the kitchen. So if you don't want to spend $60 going out to a Thai restaurant, this is actually fairly fast and easy. It took us maybe 30, 40 minutes, but a lot of chatting in between, and then it's just that real long taste at the end to make sure you have it just right and that it suits your fancy. So thank you for joining me at Go Beyond Betty, where you are taking whisks in the kitchen. We'll see you again next time. Bye.
What should people do if they like your show?
Subscribe, like.
No. Start
comment.
off with don't forget to
like and subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'll write you back, because I'm not that popular yet.